All right, take two. Haha. All right. Um, I got some questions that I wrote down. I didn't write them down. My handwriting ain't that nice, y'all already can guess. That I'm gonna try and answer, or I'm going to answer in order. Um, all right, I'll talk about seeds last, for the record. If you're here for growing Drosanthemum Globosum specifically from seed, just the Drosanthemum genus in general from seed will be at the end of this, for the record. Ay, ay, ay. Let's get started. All right. First question: how do you get it that bushy? Trimming, honestly, lots of trimming. Start them young, and the possibilities are endless. Kind of trimming, but also here. Okay, for the seed guys later on, I'm gonna trim this guy in this video. I was gonna trim him the other day, and I was like, no, let me do a video, answer some questions. I'm trying to be fucking useful for once, dude. Right? All right. How do you get it that bushy trimming? Genuinely, because here we're coming up. This guy back here was, essentially these two look just like that guy. He is very leggy. Oh, come on. It doesn't come through, but he's very leggy. I'm just letting him be leggy because I'm curious, mostly. But I trimmed these two guys. They were just as bushy as him. Their circumference came out around the pot. Their reach had breached the edge. Say that 5 times fast. Okay. English is super easy, right? Here we go. So I trimmed these guys super hard, dude. Like baby vulture style. Trim them to keep them that bushiness. And it was a gamble, and it worked. So because these guys, I bought them bushy. So that's cheating. But to keep them bushy is important. And that's what I've been doing to keep them bushy, for the record. Because if you don't trim them, they just get leggy and crazy. Can you make a video on the care? Was a question. Care is... Wait, alright. Well, it depends on what your substrate is. General care, I'd say in Japan they do almost like a pure, what looks like pumice, akadama kind of blend. I'd recommend that if possible, but I've also, I have some guys in varying media. General easy care, highlight, cooler temperatures. I've noticed have the cooler temperatures have been keeping them more circular, which is the goal, correct? I just want to be clear on that. Everyone wants a bushy, circular, globy plant, correct? And if we can agree that that is our end goal objective, right, then that's how you achieve that. Very important. Watering. I watered everyone earlier today, literally, so that's where I'm like, you should have waited, dude, and just shown everyone. But this guy gets, around this pot size, gets 2 bottles of water equivalent. I use recycled water from my Healy tank, generally, for the record. Or else I do okay, important. This is important. If I'm gonna give you advice, please. I'm sorry, this is rambly. Also, fuck you. I'm doing this for fun, right? I should be having fun, right? Okay. It's teaching someone is very different than doing it yourself without on autopilot, And I don't think I'm in a position that I should actually be teaching anyone anything, but I'm still in an experimental phase for these plants, for the record. take everything I say with a large chunk of salt. Okay? I can only tell you what I know and what I've done, so that's all I'm going to tell you, right? So, general care, watering. When I have the time, I will lightly spray everyone every day, at least once, when I have the time. When I do not have time, I give someone this size 2 bottles of water. You know, I don't just sometimes I will, if I'm in a real actual rush, I'll just open a bottle of water and fucking dump it on them, real quick. But I try not to do that because it's expensive generally. But they get 2 bottles of water every 3 days. 2 to 3 days. Generally, they like a little bit of fucking water, dude. I try not to let them dry out completely. This guy, you'll see down here, super sad. He's fighting. He's not looking good. You'll see, right? I chopped his roots to fit him in this pot. So it was a hard test. He's bouncing back, though. I think I can revive him. So we'll see. But, okay, for the record, they do not like their roots to be tampered with, I've noticed. Have you seen any fungus gnats? I'm still working on them. Their population is dwindling pretty rapidly, I'd say. So, what I'm doing is working, and that is just mosquito bits in the watering every week, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I've been pushing it a little, so I'm getting back on it soon. Wait, what kind of lights are you using? Carnivero USA. I don't know if they ship Lights International. I'd look into it, but also not like super stressing. They are, in my opinion, they're my favorite grow lights to use. And then if I could, I'd take every other light I have and smash them Office Space style to buy these, as some promotion. No, they're awesome lights. They're powerful, but not any more powerful. I'd be concerned. Just personally, I get a little sketchy as super powerful lights, that are drawing power and getting hot. They do get hot. I will say they're not perfect, but they're great. Carnivero. I believe it's the P40 and the P80 I have currently. I was using some cheap like Amazon lights, but they were not effective enough, and as soon as I could, I have upgraded them. How can I make them stay compact, spear shaped? I assume you're talking about the little globies. How do you make them compact, sphere shaped? That comes with equal parts temperature and watering. I've found. Again, I'm still doing some fertilizer test, anyways, we'll get into that later, but I've been doing some fertilizer test. It's dude, it's a little stressful. Again, that's where it's like, fuck, dude. I understand why people are asking me these questions, but it's only because there's nowhere else for them to go, and I feel bad, What medium? Well, again, I kind of covered that, but if you wanted, seriously, you could do pure Fluval. Like the most expensive, guaranteed, safe way, I would say just do pure Fluval if you're stressing like that. Do you prune them to promote growth? Yes. Yes, you have to trim them, dude. If you want them to, because if you don't trim them, they look like this, dude, and they just get crazy leggy, and who wants that? I don't want that. Even this guy, I'm gonna trim him later. You have to constantly kind of trim these guys to keep them, Come on, hold on. Sorry, I'm readjusting. I'm sitting. All right, just to be a little more careful, but I feel like I'm getting close to answering most of these though. Oh, we'll talk about seeds in a minute. Sorry, hold on. Because again, believe it or not, again, they're very care dependent on, hold on. Come on, grab that, please. There we go. This guy, right? This is my best seedling. A little over a year old. I'm gonna trim him coming up in a bit. I've been trimming him a little, you can kind of tell, but nothing crazy trimming wise. But yeah, my best seedling and my slowest seedling. There we go. He's a little cutie. I started both of these guys at the same time. Right? How cool is that's kind of cool to me. No, he's pretty awesome though. He's cute, so I like him. Hold on. I'm gonna move a couple guys around. Do 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 do. And again, I wouldn't recommend the moss. I just personally think it looks so cool with the moss. Alright, so here's what we're doing. Listen, okay. Because it's also, I do some kind of hard trimming. This is like, again, keeping them bushy. The bottom one's coming off. Is coming off, and it's very woody. Oh, come on. There we go. So got a few cuttings that I'll plant. Again, in propagating these guys, that'll have to be another video because it's not a easily answered question for propagating these guys. Alright, so and then okay, here these taller guys, I'm gonna trim you right. Oh, come on. Boom. Boom. You know, we're trying to promote a bushy growth, you know, ideally, right? So it's so I'm just kind of cutting off the new growth on them. Oh yeah, okay. How are we looking? Let's see. Again, not bad. Kind of Charlie Brown Christmas style. Part of me is like, actually, wait, you're coming off. You're gonna trim it like you mean it, right? Oh, come on. You're coming off. You're coming off. You know what? You're coming off too. Boom. Alright, now we're done. Done. I'm gonna leave them alone. Actually, alright, last trim. There we go. Okay. Oh, that I would consider that a hard trim, right? Part of me still wants to trim this guy off and this guy, actually. But I might. Oh, no, okay. Actually, yeah, I am. Oh, man, sorry. Decisions in the moment, alright? It's like, be brave, dude. You know? Be brave. So, now we're done. Whew. Hard trim. But we're trying to promote the stalk growth, you know? And have enough little globies to keep them going. So, ay, oy, oy, oy. Talking about stressful. So, boy, constant effort, because I trimmed, again, you can kind of barely tell, but I trimmed these guys just slightly. They were getting a little leggy. But yeah, in propagation wise, like this guy, he's got a really decent thick stem. So the odds of this guy rooting are very high. And then to propagate, here's my recent. I did some trimming the other day, and these are the trimmings from the other day. And literally, sometimes I do a rooting hormone, but I don't actually know if it helps. So sometimes I also don't do a rooting hormone. I just kind of jam them in there, and I've been doing. Just, kind of, doing some experiments, and, I'll show you my, cuttings in a second. But yeah, I just kind of jam them all into, a pot. Ideally, I'll do a rooting hormone, and then I jam them all in the middle as much as I can. And yeah, rip off the bottom couple if you have to. A little more stem never hurts, right? Boy. And here we're going up real quick, just so I can show you. These are my cuttings. So, again, not quite sure what the deal is with all of them, but I'm trying. So, okay. Hopefully that's it. Any other questions? I'm sure I left a bunch of stuff out. I think this room is around. This room's like about, I don't know, like 76 degrees Fahrenheit on average, for the record. So there's that. I'm trying to think. Humidity, dry. It's like less than 40% in here, I want to say. Seedlings. Sorry, last thing. When you start your seedlings, they should germinate pretty quickly, just in general, for the record. And I wait until they get to me, these are still too small to separate, personally. Other people might do other things, but to me, I'm waiting to separate these, and I'll do a video on that when I do. So just something. What? Because I'll say for a seedling though, for a little over a year, this is my biggest guy, and it's my smallest guy. Or actually, this guy's kind of small too for a seedling. Look how tiny he is. Also, I will say a lot of growers in Korea, they'll stake them so they have something to climb up, and it seems to help. I'm going to do some tests on that soon. Hopefully this answered some stuff. If not, I'm sorry. I will see y'all when I see you. Bye.